For over a decade, it was one of Kenya's most bitter and defining political rivalries. On one side, William Ruto, the hustler from Sugoi, a political street fighter on a relentless ascent. On the other, Gideon Moi, the scion of the Moi political dynasty, the keeper of his father's legacy and power in the Rift Valley. Their feud was personal, it was political, and it was thought to be permanent. But yesterday, in the symbolic shadow of the late President Daniel Arap Moi's home in Kabarak, the impossible happened. The two sworn enemies stood side by side, signed a pact, and declared a new political partnership. In a stunning move, Gideon Moi bowed out of the Baringo Senatorial race in favor of the UDA aspirant, Kiprono Chemitei, and pledged his support for President Ruto's 2027 re-election bid.
Kama kuna mtu ama kitu ambaye imefanya Gideon asikuje, kama ni mtu, tunaomba hiyo mtu aachilie Gideon akuje apeane papers yake.
How did we get here? How did two men, whose enmity was forged in the fires of the Moi succession and the battle for the Rift Valley soul, suddenly become allies? This is the untold story of the Ruto-Gideon Moi feud, a tale of betrayal, power struggles, business survival, and one of the most shocking political reversals in recent Kenyan history. To understand this story, we have to go back. Back to the era of the professor of politics, President Daniel Arap Moi. In the 1990s and early 2000s, William Ruto was a rising star within Moi's KANU party. He was energetic, articulate, and seen by many as a potential heir to the Kalenjin leadership. But there was always another son in the picture, the biological son, Gideon Moi. While Ruto was building his base from the ground up, Gideon was being groomed within the inner sanctum of the Moi family. The tension was inherent. Who would truly inherit the Moi political machine? The first major crack appeared in 2002. President Moi, in a move that shocked the nation, anointed Uhuru Kenyatta as his successor, sidelining many KANU stalwarts, including a disappointed Ruto. This was the first sign that Ruto's future might not be within the house of Moi. Ruto, feeling betrayed, jumped ship to Raila Odinga's ODM, becoming a key figure in the Orange movement. He effectively took a huge chunk of the Rift Valley vote, a traditional KANU stronghold, with him. This was seen as a direct challenge to the Moi dynasty. Gideon, now the de facto leader of KANU, watched as Ruto dismantled his father's political empire from within. The battle for the Rift Valley was officially on. The enmity deepened over the years. Ruto's rise to deputy president in 2013 with Uhuru Kenyatta further cemented his position as the region's political kingpin, a title Gideon desperately wanted. They became the two poles of Kalenjin politics, Ruto, the populist, hustler, and Gideon, the royal, successor. The 2022 election loomed as the ultimate showdown. After President Kenyatta's infamous handshake with Raila Odinga in 2018, Gideon Moi and his KANU party aligned with the new Kenyatta-Odinga axis, the Azimio la Umoja coalition. This was a strategic move to isolate and defeat William Ruto. Gideon was positioned as a principal kingpin in Azimio, the man who would deliver the Rift Valley and finally vanquish his longtime rival. But then, tragedy struck. The passing of President Daniel Arap Moi in February 2020 was a national moment of mourning. But even in death, the bitter rivalry between Ruto and Gideon found a way to manifest in one of the most publicly painful and disrespectful episodes of their feud. Then Deputy President William Ruto, as part of his duties and as a former ally, went to the Lee Funeral Home in Nairobi to pay his last respects to the former president. But he was denied access. He was turned away at the door. Multiple reports confirmed that the instruction to block the deputy president came directly from the Moi family, with Gideon Moi's approval. It was a stunning snub, a public humiliation meant to send a clear message: you are not family. You are not welcome. For Ruto, this was a deeply personal affront. For political watchers, it was the point of no return. If they couldn't reconcile in death, they never would. Ruto would eventually view the body at the Nio State House days later, but the damage was done. The Lee Funeral Home incident became the ultimate symbol of their hatred. The 2022 election was their final battle. Gideon campaigned vigorously for Azimio, believing a Raila presidency would finally break Ruto's grip and elevate his own stature. But we all know how that ended. William Ruto won the presidency. Gideon Moi not only lost the political war but also lost his senatorial seat. He was politically wounded, and his dynasty was at its weakest point in decades. So, what changed? Why the dramatic reconciliation just 2 years later? The answer is a potent mix of cold, hard political calculus and pressing business survival. For Gideon Moi, the reality is stark. His influence in Baringo and the larger Rift Valley has diminished. His KANU party is a shadow of its former self. But the stakes are even higher than just politics. The Moi family's vast business empire has been facing significant headwinds, with reports of financial strain and struggling ventures. A key asset, the Standard Media Group, has been notably collapsing, drowning in debt and a shrinking market share. It is widely noted that this media house has consistently been a tool for fighting the president, publishing and broadcasting a stream of negative stories about his administration. By remaining an outsider, Gideon was not just risking his political future but the very survival of his family's commercial legacy. Aligning with the government offers protection. It opens doors to state-friendly financial solutions and a more favorable regulatory environment. This move is as much about saving the family business as it is about reviving a political career. For President Ruto, this is a masterstroke. By welcoming Gideon into the fold, he achieves three things. First, he effectively decapitates any potential opposition within his own backyard, consolidating the entire Kalenjin vote. Second, he neutralizes a critical media voice, turning a foe into, at the very least, a neutralized entity. And third, it strengthens his hand nationally ahead of 2027, presenting a united Rift Valley front. Gideon's decision to bow out of the Baringo race for UDA's Kiprono Chemitei and endorse Ruto's 2027 bid is the ultimate trophy in this political merger. So, when you see them smiling and signing documents in Kabarak, remember the long road they traveled. It's a story of ambition, betrayal, a public snub at a funeral home, and the urgent need to protect a crumbling empire. But ultimately, in politics and business, there are no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. The question now is, how will this new alliance hold? Is Gideon Moi now a loyal subordinate, or is he playing a longer game? And will this be enough to stabilize the Moi business interests? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Was this a smart move by both? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more in-depth political analysis.